And we're back with the Lone Rowsdower episode 4. I'm Lex Gray. So, where we left off yesterday, I've been making these day to day, which is quite fun, is that the militia, which was a comment suggested from one of my viewers, Smitty, thank you again for that. The militia tracked Rowsdower to the cabin in the swamp, where we are currently located, and Mike Pepper was able to talk them away or direct them in the direction that um, they are actually looking for. Then that's the cult, the responsible party. Rowsdower was kind of implicated, indirectly, just bad luck, wrong place, wrong time kind of situation. But anyways, those guys are gone. It could have been a conflict, but luckily they were steered away. So I have to remember that they are in the background right now of the story, and will encounter them in the future. I have an idea what to do with them, but once we reach that bridge, once we cross that bridge. Also, there is a retcon I want to establish, which was in the comments of my last video that I put. Basically, the artifact, I was not happy with it. The Sphere of Illusion. It is just the map. This is from the Final Sacrifice episode. It is the map that Troy McGregor in Final Sacrifice finds, which leads him down the road and then eventually into the hands of the cult. The map is where the city lies. So Mike Pepper took the map from the cult, and the map is needed to find the ancient city of Ziox. So he passes the map to Rowsdower, because Rowsdower is the only person that Mike Pepper trusts, and tells Rowsdower that this is the map of the legend of the missing city of Ziox. If you are able to take the map to the city and burn it while in the ancient chamber, then the city will be destroyed forever, and the powers of the city cannot be summoned and commanded by the forces of Satoris. So the map has to be brought to the city chamber, possibly location to be announced, but basically it has to be brought to the city itself and burnt. That way the city can never be found. It'll be buried forever, and the powers of this ancient city cannot be summoned or ruled by Satoris. Because if Satoris gets his hands on the map and then finds the city, he will rule the world, essentially. So, let's make that correction in our character sheet here. We're going to erase the blue pearl and replace it with map of Ziox to find the city. Either a +2 or allowance. Allowance meaning that with the map, it's practically a key to get into the city. So he is allowed to get inside. Or a +2 to find the city on his way to the said location of the city. So, let's continue now with the episode. We're at Pepper's cabin, and we're in the swamp. Keep that off to the side here. And we have to figure out what happens. Now, let's draw a card. Essentially, what's on Rowsdower's mind is that he needs to leave and go after the cult, or find the city first. So Mike Pepper already told him about the map. Let's add that. So Pepper gave Rowsdower map. All right? So that has already been established in my little rant about the retcon. This card here is a metaphor, as I see it. This little guy right here is Rowsdower. This dragon, this is the Cringin boon. A boon is a good thing. basically, I think this dragon, it could be either the end goal, the end game of this whole adventure, the city, or Satoris. Now, the dragon can be perceived as either a bad or a good thing, but I believe because it says boon, which if you guys play Easy D6 and many other games like Dragon Bane, boons are typically good. Bane is a setback, a bad thing. So boon I see as good. So I think this is going to be the end game. Mission accomplished, essentially. So I think the map gives Rowsdower here. Where's the camera? Here it is. Confidence. So he gets another boost to his mission. And that's a +2, a scene boost, or I should say a world boost to his mission and finding the city first. So he will likely find or run into the cult, but with the map, he may be able to find the city first before the cult does. And we cannot forget about the militia. That's a mental note for myself. I'm going to put that in the queue here, actually. So the queue is essentially his character list or anything of importance. So, militia. With a little star here. We also have Satoris and the cult. So, we had a boost prior, which was +2 scene boost. Militia tracking the cult. I think what is going to happen here is that we're going to modify that to a +2 for Rowsdower tracking the city. Okay? So here we go. Rowsdower is going to depart the cabin. I think business is complete. He says his goodbyes to Mike Pepper. And... hold on, my cats are being cats. Okay. That was kind of funny. It's hard to explain. Okay. So, Rowsdower says his goodbyes to Mike Pepper. He tells Pepper to be careful, and Rowsdower tells him the same. Pepper tells him the same. Tells him to be careful out there, watch out for Satoris, watch out for the militia, stick with the map, and avoid any trouble. Rowsdower says he can't promise anything, but with the map, he is feeling overly confident than usual that he will be able to get there first. He knows the lands very well. That's one of his aspects. Again, I have it written here. Knows the wild roads, etc. Plus knows the wild roads plus worst places. So that's one of his aspects that we can spend a fate point to use when we're traveling via our horse. He has his horse. His horse is probably somewhere in the back. He unties it from the wall and he gets on, he mounts and he leaves. So Mike Pepper is waving goodbye and goes back inside his cabin. We are now back in the swamp and making our way out away from the cabin. Okay, so let's draw a new card for location. So I'm going to say that we are out of the swamp and we are now at a new location, which will be a passage. Okay, a certain passage out of the swamp into another location. So this is kind of a midway point. So Rowsdower leaves. And location, we can use Rogue's Passage. Maybe it is a shortcut that Rowsdower knows. So essentially, what we're going to do is do a roll that will represent the progress through this set passage. We're going to generalize it. We're going to zoom out. We're going to become abstract here just for a moment. And this roll will represent how things go through this Rogue's Passage. All right. So let's take out the dice that I usually use for opposing rolls. There is our dice right here. And this will be intelligence or wisdom. Let's see. I think, well, first off, we're going to spend a fate point to use our aspect knows the wild roads plus worst places. All right, so that's a fate point gone. Now, would this be either intelligence or wisdom? I think it's going to be wisdom. They're both the same, so it doesn't essentially matter. So +1 and then +3 with on top. And I'm not going to use uh, the boost that we have, +2, so we're going to stick with the +3. Now, the latter will be, I think Rogue's Passage is probably a semi-dangerous area, so let's stick with a +3 for now, against our +3 bonus. Look at that. We rolled the best possible fate dice. We have 4 ups, plus we have 5, 6, 7. So we're looking at a huge bonus. That succeed with style, no doubt about it. So that's an added benefit. So we get a bonus here. We pass safely with a boost because of our, I'm going to put here, succeed with style. And that boost is going to be the following. A blade. So I believe I actually had this card drawn a few episodes ago and put it back because I changed my mind on it. I think this was a blade. I might have seen off camera, but essentially, how to interpret this. So when he crosses through the Rogue's Passage, maybe he does defeat someone, or he stops an ambush from he sees an ambush from happening in time, or he finds some corpses or some skeletons, anything. But essentially, he finds this blade. And I'm going to put it in his inventory. So, blade. Not a stunt, it's just an item. We'll make use of it somehow. Okay, so he finds that. Put that card away, and that benefit is complete. Now, we are going to reach the end of the passage, which will spring up, which will summon a new location card. So we're done with the passage. And our new location will be the following. Oh, that's perfect. Plains. All right, so plains on open fields. This is perfect. So it's wide open. It's a complete opposite of a swamp. And I think here, there might be some hills, might be some trees or brush occasionally, but I think here gives Rowsdower a sense of calm because he can see further out. There's no spot for ambush, but he knows which direction to go. However, he can be seen from other possible threats from a distance. So it's a two-way street on that kind of that potential situation. So plains, open field. All right, let's see what happens when he is making his way through these plains. All right, so it looks like Orbig Siphon Mage, a human spell shaper. It says, I have become a gourmet of sorts. Each soul has its own distinctive flavor. The art is inviting the right company to the feast. Okay. Well, how to interpret this? Remember, these are more so tarot cards in nature as I use them for this series. So we have someone who is surrounded by, well, they look like corpses. They look like the dead. Souls. And this individual here seems to be very powerful. Each soul, there's a mention of souls, which could mean the dead. I'm getting a lot of undead vibes here with this card. So maybe, even though these are the planes, we have to remember that this, the theme I'm kind of going here with this this series, this Lone Rowsdower, is the dark fantasy. So I think he runs into probably a graveyard of the undead. Maybe a post-battle scene. There's probably bodies everywhere, so perhaps he does come across a battlefield. I'm thinking, actually, of stealing a certain scene from Lord of the Rings where our heroes are crossing these plains. I forgot what they're called, but it's like these, there's these underground, there's these ponds or rivers of bodies that are beneath the water. So maybe it's something like to that extent, but perhaps it's blood. I don't recall if it was blood in Lord of the Rings, but I remember the scene very vividly. So Rowsdower is approaching this mixture of land and rivers and ponds, um, and they appear to be blood. Perhaps this is an area he's familiar with. Let's do a knowledge check to see if he does know what this area is. So I'm going to save a fate point, and we're just going to use our wisdom to see if he knows this area. Now, checking if I have anything else here on my aspect or stunt list we can use. Don't think there's anything on here. So, again, we can let's spend a fate point because this is just one episode. Add a +2 from the knows the wild roads plus worst places. This could be the worst place mentioned. That's a +2 for the roll. And then we have a +1. So let's do a +2 for the ladder, the difficulty, with our +3 total. That's 1 total +3, that's 4, so we're 2 over. So that succeeds. Okay, so he is familiar with this area. And this area, so I'm going to say it's an area. It is the, let's say, the Road of the Dead. That's the name of it. It's a nickname given by travelers. That's how I interpret this card. And because he knows it, it gives him a scene boost. I'll do a scene boost here. With a star. Aware of traps. That's essentially what it is. So let's draw a card to see how it goes. Okay. Expose the daylight. All right, so that leads me to think that he has become exposed and that someone sees him. This is being exposed to daylight. Someone sees him. Lies cannot long withstand the harsh light of day. So I think, or actually, let's ask the Oracle. Maybe the sunlight exposes something under the water. Again, like from Harry Potter, or Lord of the Rings, Lord of Potter, Harry Rings. He sees something like that's tempting in the water, which, again, stolen idea from Lord of the Rings. There's the undead are down there. If you reach down in the water, they grab you and they pull you in. But he knows this, so maybe something. Oh, I have a great idea here. Okay, this is gonna be not gruesome or dark, but maybe it will be dark. Okay, so he's on his horse. He looks down briefly, and he can see bodies a few feet underneath the water, or let's say 6 feet under the water. Daylight is, again, this card, daylight shines through the water, and you can see the light rays, the sun rays, show some body parts and very gruesome imagery. When he's going slowly, he's being careful, he's not trying to step off the trail. He sees something familiar. He sees somebody familiar. He stops, and he looks, and he sees his wife and kids. They're, again, it's going to be picturesque. It's basically, they're dead. They're on the other corpses surrounding in underwater. So again, very vivid. So he stops, and this is a compel moment for our fate mechanic, essentially haunted by fire, regret, questionable judgment. So remember, Satoris killed his family years ago. He's been a drifter ever since. So this would be compel for him to get off the horse and try to save them. But we can resist it by spending a fate point, our last one. Or rolling against it, actually. I think I'm going to roll. I think that's a mechanic in the game. I don't remember if you pay a fate point or you can roll against it. Compelling. Let's see. Decision making. You have blank aspect in the situation. So it makes sense that you decide to blank, blank, blank. What I'm going to do. Oh, accept the complication for a fate point. What I'm going to do is roll against it. Have a chance to resist the compel. So we're going to roll for it. This will be difficult, but we have the scene boost that he knows this area. So I'm going to cross that off. We're going to use that, spend it, and Constitution is going to be +2. We're going to use that too. So that's +4 total, and we're resisting our compel of the Haunted by Fire. That's a +4 total against a +4 difficulty. So here we go. We tied, essentially. That's flat. We tied, which means it is a success at minor cost. So let's write this down because I really got into the narrative there. So he sees dead family underwater. I should say his family underwater. It's just, it's a trick, a trap. And he's able to resist it. So he's able to resist check mark. Okay, now the minor cost will be this card drawn. Renewed faith. False hope, essentially. So I think that this renewed faith. He's not a religious person, but maybe he thinks that his family's alive. False hope. So he's maybe splashes his eyes with his canister of water or something, his water skin. He steps back. He's like, that's just an illusion. He looks down and he just sees the other body is not his family. They're gone. The illusion withers away. Gets back on the horse, but he's in the back of his mind. He's thinking, well, what if with the city, with the power of the city, I can get his family back? What if? It's a thought he has. I don't think it's going to be a corruption for him, against him. That could be a new aspect we can throw on it. So because we did succeed in resisting, it was a tie, which the minor cost could be an adjustment for his aspects. So here's what I'll do. I'll put a star here. False hope is, let's see, bring his family back. Okay. So that's the minor cost. That it puts in a this is a house rule, not in the fake game. This is a sub aspect. This is a aspect within an aspect. So aspection, which does not sound right, but aspection. Go with it. Just roll with it. So basically, because he resisted successfully both the minor cost, he now thinks he can get his family back with the whatever dark power of the city of Zion. I gotta see what it's called from the episode. Anyways, he's now back in the horse. He successfully. It was essentially a trap. I mean, just from a traditional sense, it is a trap. So he's able to avoid the trap. And let's draw a new location. He's out of that area. I would expect. And after some traveling for maybe a half a day or so, we're not really tracking rations, so I'm not worried about that. He reached. Oh no, that's not a location card. I'll put that back random in the deck. He reaches a river. Okay, that works for me. We've used this card before in earlier videos. Okay, so he's at a river. He's at this river. He gets off the horse. The horse drinks from the water. It's fresh water. Rowsdower fills up his water, and something does have to happen here. Okay, so they basically a short rest. We're not really recovering. We're just recovering from narrative grit. And swift boots. Okay, so we have a problem here. Someone's running up to us and will cause a problem. Maybe a thief. Let's see who it is. Okay, so we have a ambush. This is good. This is good for narrative, for chaos. It's going to be the following NPC. Hmm. That's a little too extreme. I'm gonna put this back in the deck here. I'm gonna draw again. Let's see here. Okay, a Wayfarer is a Babel. Maybe a tribe is attacking him of sorts. So that's what I'm getting from this card. A local tribe attacks him. Oh, let's get that card here. So yeah, a local tribe ambushes him. Okay, so this will be a. I'll put these cards here. This will be an opposing roll, essentially. So they ambush him, which means we might have a disadvantage here. The cat catches off guard. Let's ask the Oracle. Do they ambush? It's a 75% chance. Oh my goodness, they do not. Rowsdower was able. That's a solid no. Not only did was he able to hear their loud clumsiness, but I think he is easily prepared. So this gives him a temporary scene boost of a +2 to defend. They will attack, but he has an easy chance to defend. So +2, and then he's going to attack back with a +3 on strength. So we're rolling with a +5 total on this roll. Actually, this is going to be defending. So Constitution +2 with another plus this +4, and then our stunt +2 defend against physical stress. That's +6 total. So there is really well, let's just roll for. I don't think that it's yeah. So let's roll for it. Okay, so we're the red die, and these tribe. This tribe is a local the purple die, and we have a temporary boost here +2. We have the Constitution +4, and our stunt +6 total. Here we go. So we got 3. They got nothing. So we actually beat them. Okay, so the tribe, they are so clumsy that they pop out of the bushes screaming with daggers and they want to rob us. But Rowsdower jumps out of the way with his horse and they just fall forward flat into the ground, or some of them fall into the river. So they're just pathetic, absolutely pathetic. These are probably kids or something, amateurs. They just flat out failed miserably. So check mark, we use that. The tribe fails. Some fall into the water. I think maybe let's see how many survive or how many are still around. Let's see. Let's just do a dice roll here. Okay, that's nothing. I'm just say there's one left. Okay, so yeah, one remains. Rowsdower is he has his sword and shield ready, both as worn items, and he has him at the complete moron who stumbled, and maybe they all tripped on a branch or something. They tripped and fell, the clumsy oafs. And so the Three Stooges here, the Three Stooges, tribe of the Three Stooges, they fell. 2 of them fell into the water. The one remaining fell on the ground. The 2 who can't swim, or like they're drowning, or they're like trying to swim to the shore. I don't care. Maybe the remaining one gets up, and there can be a morale here. This is not D&D, so I can't really do a morale check, but we can ask the Oracle. Is the remaining stooge going to fight or continue trying to rob Rowsdower? 25% chance. Nope. Okay, so he flees. So they run away. The other 2 swim off onto their side, and they panic, and they probably flee. So they're not dead. They just run off. So completely pointless cutaway scene. These guys completely failed. So Rowsdower didn't have to do anything at all except for just jump out of the way. And I'm thinking of something, though. I don't know why, but the guy in this picture is holding something. Let's see if they dropped anything. I'm really curious. Did they drop anything? 50-50 chance. No, they did not. Even though it's a 75% chance. Okay, so that's it. Cutscene's over. The conflict ended. No combat, no encounter to worry about. Now we move on to the next location. So Rowsdower gets back on the horse, kind of giggling after what happens, so kind of lifts his spirits a bit. and he makes his way down the river. He's going east. The next location, which will be the last one for this episode, is here. Oh my gosh. He reaches a that looks to be like a map. It's an island, but we're on land right now. So I think it is a bay with a town. So he reaches a small settlement, a town on a bay. So I'll leave it at that. Like he's basically kind of on a hill. He looks down, and there is a very lively what do you call it? Shore, a town against a shore on a bay, and he's hoping to perhaps get some equipment or refresh himself or find an inn to relax while he heads east. So a fairly calming ending to this. I think that's suitable after the recent ones, and that's going to be really it. If I think about any retcons, I may just put in the notes as usual for you guys. But as always, so thank you for watching as always. Please feel free to subscribe, like, share, and comment, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.